Back once again for another Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown update, and quite fittingly outside the Solar Hotel here we're next to a Bugatti, and that's kind of going to be a focus of today's Let's Play, if that's what you want to call it. I've seen some of the comments, you guys asking for Let's Play walkthrough titles. If that's what YouTube wants to see, that's what YouTube will get. Today is going to be a focus on hypercars, and being able to use hypercars in the game. I have been quite critical, I don't enjoy using them in game. We've found a few select races here where hypercars are actually very good. First of all, we will head on over to Trip to the Streets HQ, Supercar Hypercar race, max RP of 900, a 6-mile sprint, and this one, fortunately for the hyperclass category, is a dry race. We'll kick things off today in the Apollo Intenza. I enjoy this car a lot. Rear-wheel drive, but it's a bag of fun, and I think it's one of the better hypercars that I personally have in-game so far, launching off the line. It is simply fantastic off the line. Tons of grip, tons of power. Sweep it down into our first turn here. We know it can be a little bit lively as we get a bit of lag, apologies for that one, and we get overtaken by an F40, but as soon as we get the power back down there, the grip levels of this Intenza is absolutely fantastic. We can get as much power down as we like, as we get absolutely wiped out by an F40 still coming downhill here. Like I was kind of speaking there, the level of grip and the way we can apply the power in the Apollo Intenza is absolutely fantastic. It's a bit lively in the front end, but I think a lot of the hypercars are in this game. We've got a good fight so far with an F40. We just managed to shake it off there, but we go wide and we do take out our customary lamppost in the first race of today's update. But we are clear ahead of the rest of the packs. Tight right section into a tight left, just managing to avoid the curbs. The curbs do unsettle these hypercars with the low profile tyres, guys, so do try and avoid them. But coming through this little tight section, being very cautious with it. I am being very cautious, but we're being tidy, and being tidy means we're being relatively quick. We're not making many mistakes, and we are pulling 2.6 seconds on the rest of the pack. Coming up into this right-hander, we don't want to outbrake ourselves, we don't want to go wide, taking out the central reservation. In fact, we can at this point, apologies on that one. We can take out the central reservation, cross across the track there. It's this corner we don't want to go wide, we don't want to take out the buildings and the railings on the left-hand side and lose all of our momentum. We do stay quite tidy through that one. Big sweeping left-hander there. Again, I was cautious. When we come back onto this wide section of the track, it has got a little hump at the top of that one, and it will unsettle any hypercar that comes across it. But we can get the power down, like we mentioned, and we can push forward. We are coming up to another tricky section here, once again cautious into the brake. We don't want to outbrake ourselves, as we will run wide and of course miss the corner. Come back down through the little tight sections. Everything's nice and intricate with this circuit. We just avoid that central res, we avoid it enough not to lose stability with the Apollo. Back end stepping out slightly as we do try to apply the power after that little right hander there, but the power is down now. We can really stretch open the Apollo Intenza, 150, 160 miles an hour, still in fourth gear. Big long sweeping right hander back up onto the freeway, but we're straight back off of this one as we just veer off here, once again being quite cautious, trying to keep the back end under control here. Obviously a lot of power going through the back of this car as it does just step out of us, and we do unfortunately take out or crash into the wall on the right hand side, but it's not cost us too much time. We can now finish off this race. What are we, 16% left of this one. Let's just get the power down here. Are we going to lift? We don't lift. 6.7 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. One big braking section coming up here. We don't want to outbrake ourselves as we will take out that wall on the left hand side. We managed to brake just in time, nice and clean, to finish off the first race for today. Last left hander, power down, let's cross the line, let's take first place and our first win for today's walkthrough in the hypercars. Move on to the second race for today. We will jump over into the Bugatti Veyron SS, and we will of course jump over to the Monster Mash race. Another one, I actually quite enjoy this race. I think it's pretty good. So we'll move into a different hypercar. We will move into the Bugatti Veyron with the longest first gear in any ICE vehicle that I have built. Move up to second finally. First braking section, we can cut across the track here, and it does tend to give us a bit of an advantage using the shrubbery to slow down the car. use your environment to help your racing. That's kind of the way I'm looking at that one. Use what is around you to help you slow down. This, of course, being a domination race, we want to be first to any checkpoint. So we do cut across that left-hander, taking out the railings. I did want to cross that checkpoint in first place. Much like that one there, we want to score as many points as we can, just in case something happens in the race, the AI overtake us. It doesn't matter if we cross the line first, we want to collect the most amount of points. This little section there was quite difficult, coming uphill, not wanting to outbrake ourselves and miss that hairpin right-hander back down the freeway section. Much like this one here, don't want to outbrake ourselves, so we can just cut around there, miss out the shrubbery, miss out the central reservation, so we can get the power back down and really stretch out the Bugatti Veyron. Left-hander, lamppost, as always, into another left-hander. Once again, we can just get the power down as quick as we can, stretch out the Veyron, stretch out the lead here we have on the rest of the pack, taking out first place on all of these domination checkpoints, just over 6 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. As we do make a mess of that little section there, the barrier's not slowing us down all too much, so things are still good. Big sweeping right-hander here. How's the car going to be? Oh, we only just hold the back end through that one. It was trying to step out on us, but we just managed to keep it under control. Heavy braking section, heavy braking zone into this section. Again, don't want to brake ourselves there. That really cost us a lot of time missing that turn. Now we've got some chicanes coming up here, left-handers into right-handers. We can cut over them just a little bit to save us some more time, but we have stretched our lead. We are going to take out first place. We are going to cross the line with 1,690 points. Another easy win there for the Bugatti Veyron. And lastly, we will round it out here with emergency brake. And of course we will jump over into another hypercar, the Porsche 918. Let's launch this one off the line. How do we get on with it? Fantastic launch off the line, but we do have a Bugatti with those huge first gears out dragging us off the line. Little tricky section there. Did get a little bit flustered. It came at me very, very fast. As we can see, we're very cautious with it as we do dive bomb the rest of the pack there into that right-hander. It's such a mess so far. We're crashing into AI, AI are crashing into us, but we do settle down right now in third place as the AI go wide and do take us out, but we take that to our advantage. We dive bomb up the inside of the Veyron, cut across the right-hander, take out the railings and take back first place. We do have that Veyron all over the back end of us, but the AI have had a strange braking zone back there and gave us a bit of a 3-second gap. Brake down into this section, cut across the curb, we can just save a little bit of time with that one. Get the power down. I choose to stay left at this section. Yes, being right, maybe the faster point for that turn, but the next turn coming up, I want to have the widest angle I can. Like we can see here, cut across the track. Unfortunately, don't make the best effort. We do take out our customary lamppost, we do take out some railings, but that will help us in the next lap. We can now put the pedal to the metal. Get this lap over and done with. 2.7 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack as we do start out lap number 2. Again, back into this little section, a lot tighter this time around with no AI around us. Heavy braking once again. I would have thought those railings would have stayed away. We did take them out in the first lap, but they have respawned. It doesn't matter all too much. We do still have a 1.5, almost 2-second lead on the rest of the pack, so all things are fine. Again, cutting across that turn there, like we did last time out, where we dive bombed Chiron in first place. This being the strange braking zone, the red markers on the track that the AI always respond to. They shouldn't be braking at that point. Nonetheless, we'll push forward once again, cutting over that turn, taking a little bit of air. That's fine, helps us. We can still be as fast as we can, and once again, staying left coming into this turn with a 5.5-second lead. It prepares us for the next turn. That's the way I look at this one. I think it's the faster line, as we will now cut across, and we can see that the railings and the lampposts aren't there this time, so it does help us. We are faster to finish off this race. A couple of seconds left of this one, guys, and we do take a dominant third win in today's hypercar races. Now, I have spoken enough here, as fittingly as it is, we jump into a rear-wheel drive R8 and it's soaking wet. It is a good segue for what I'm going to talk about next. I have been relatively critical on the hypercar races. I try not to be critical on this game at all. There's too much negativity where I think there should be a lot of positivity. The hypercars, for me, I have had a lot of negativity due to the fact that most of the races that we get into with hypercars are wet. For me, I feel that the vast majority of hypercar races need to be dry. They're unbelievably powerful. They are relatively tricky to use, I think everybody would agree, So for me, I would like to see more drive races for hypercars. That selection I just went through there are 3 of my favoured hypercar races when I've got hypercar tasks to do. They're kind of the ones I would refer to, and I hope you guys obviously go and take a look at them after today's video. I do hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, smash up the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell, continue leaving comments guys. I do obviously see the comments, I respond to nearly every comment you guys give to me, and I do appreciate it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and of course it will then help my channel grow. So tons of appreciation for you guys that are continuing to help me grow the channel and coming back to tune into all of the daily updates for Test Drive Limited Solar Crown. Stay tuned for more content. Tomorrow we will be of course covering our latest drop for the live weekly events, so stay tuned for that one guys. I will see you tomorrow for another update on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.